the guys from Ping, they've kind of shown me how much the equipment matters.
I just love that I can hit any shot I kind of want.
We're going to be able to tell some fun stories about what goes on here to help golfers play better golf.
Welcome back to the Ping Proving Grounds podcast. Shane Bacon, Marty Jertson. We're in the Ping truck. Always excited to be back. And we're with a man that does a lot of work week to week. Shay Knight's with us, of course, the caddy for Viktor Hovland. Shay, recently you were a part of one of the great final rounds, one of the great final 9 holes that we've ever seen when Viktor tore apart Olympia Fields. Is that the best golf you've ever seen? Is that the best golf you've ever been a part of?
It was like playing a video game. It was unbelievable. To be a first-hand witness of that, standing by the bag and just experiencing, what he went through and, the shots that he hit was remarkable.
I think whenever there's like a round like that, obviously Viktor hit tons of incredible shots, very, very straight, but you also have to get lucky a little bit. So what were a few things there in that final round around that back 9 where, maybe the luck went his way?
Well, definitely 14, with that lie that he had chipped the driver off the tee and just missed it in the left rough, and, the green was going with us, but, there's a tuft of grass behind the ball, and 9-iron couldn't get there. He had to hit the 8-iron, but it had to come out perfectly, and, obviously it did, and knocked it to a foot. Make birdie from there was, incredible.
Shay, what's that conversation like between you and Viktor on that lie? Because I remember watching on TV and they had you guys mic'd up at Memorial. Was it in the playoff?
In the playoff,
in the playoff, and the tee shot ended up right there on the edge of the rough in the fairway too. What is that? What is your contribution in talking through the shot selection there with Viktor?
More, just giving him reassurance. Especially at Memorial when obviously long's no good, but, to hit the wedge the way he did, we thought it was going to come out hot, and it kind of did. It needed to get out, cover that bunker. But yesterday on 14, we knew 9-iron couldn't get there, and we knew that there was a false front and it was going to come all the way back down. So he had to take the shot on, and he did, being the aggressive player that he is. And, obviously he pulled it off.
Yeah.
Shay, what has the last year been like in terms of the development of Viktor Hovland? Because you kind of go back to the Open last year. Of course, he was in the final group with Rory on Sunday. Think about the PGA Championship this year. But, he's on a run. He's not missing cuts. He's playing very consistent golf. The pitching and chipping has improved a lot. It feels like the complete game is there. But what has it been like mentally for him over the last year to kind of take this next step?
Yeah, and that's the hardest part because, when you start playing better, your expectations get higher, so you put more pressure on yourself, and it's trying to manage that, try to have a slice of reality, so to speak, in terms of not being able to play perfect golf and accepting that and understanding that golf's a 4-letter word for a reason. So for him to go out and the consistency that he's shown week in, week out this year has been it's been spectacular.
Going back to St. Andrews, and then you think about Oak Hill, and he played excellent golf at Oak Hill really until the bunker shot. Was that on 16?
16.
So what was Viktor like going to the final round at St. Andrews? Because, he hit it close on one. He missed a short birdie putt and didn't really factor in that Sunday versus going to that PGA Championship, playing alongside another heavy hitter on that Sunday. What was Viktor like at the PGA this year versus maybe the Open last year?
It's funny because whenever Viktor gets off to a good start, he always takes that momentum forward. Whereas when he gets off to a shaky start, he misses a couple of putts early. That's when, you're thinking, is he going to change the momentum or is it going to continue the same? And, that was the difference between the Open and the PGA because, the Open, as you said, he missed a couple of short putts early, and PGA, he made a couple of short putts early and he took the momentum moving forward.
Yeah, it seems like it's so fun to watch Viktor making a lot of birdies on tough golf courses against the strongest fields. Tell us a little bit about it. I think at Augusta this year he made 5 birdies in a row. What are those stretches like? Like, are you guys talking more, talking less? Is he just in the zone? What's it like when he's on a heater like he was a few weeks ago in at Augusta?
As we all know, he's an unbelievable ball striker. He drives the ball extremely well, and his irons, when it's on, he hits fades. So he has full control over the ball, knowing that the ball is going to go left to right, and that's why he can be so aggressive. So, if he can control his distance, and especially around Augusta, that's extremely important around there. To be able to do that. So, that's the most important thing for him. And, when he's on, he's just got no fear. He's just such an aggressive player.
Shay, how did you get introduced to Viktor? And going through your career and kind of looking along some of the players that you've kind of teamed up with over the years, what is it like taking maybe a flyer on a young player, even though obviously was a great young player and had come off that USAM win?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I was working for Sean O'Hare, it was 4.5 years ago now, and he got injured, and I was pretty much looking for work, being a little freelancer, caddying for odds and ends here.
When you're looking for work as a caddy, I mean, are you kind of letting other caddies know, like, hey, I'm available, like I'm golf Tinder if anybody wants to swipe?
I wish it was like
Yeah.
that. It's like a fraternity out here. It really is. Everyone knows, who's looking, who's who got fired, who's whatever it is.
Whose player's injured, right?
Exactly. So Joe Scovern, who's a good friend of mine, he worked for Ricky Fowler for a long time. Sam McNaughton, who is Ricky's agent, and is obviously Viktor's agent as well. So, that's how the team came along. And yeah, Sam called me up and asked if I'd be interested in trying it out with this young kid. Obviously he won the US Amateur. And so I flew out to Stillwater. I wanted to introduce myself beforehand because we met in Mexico a couple of years prior, where I just, because he was going to Australia for the Australian Open, and I'm obviously from Australia, and he was playing in Sydney. So we're just talking about that. But that was the first time that I actually spoke to him. And so I flew to Stillwater, had breakfast with him, and just to hang out and make sure, there was a bond there, because you pretty much know straight away whether you're going to get on or not. And yeah, just went from there. And, obviously we started the Travelers, and yeah, the rest is history. Yeah, it's been an unbelievable ride the last 4 years.
Yeah. Viktor's game has evolved. Obviously, he came out as a superstar. His ball striking, even when he played in the U.S. Open as an amateur, like
2019
Pebble, at Pebble. He either led the field, was very close to leading the field in strokes gained. Ball striking. What has it been like seeing other parts of his game? You mentioned his short game evolve in these 4 years. Which parts of his game have been fun for you to watch kind of improve?
Yeah, it's been an interesting ride because, he's obviously a cutter of the golf ball. With the way his wrist angles, etc., he cuts the ball. And, he went down a stage where he tried to hit the draws, try and get the numbers more closer to zero from a TrackMan perspective.
Yep.
And, it's difficult for him to do. So we went down that road, and now he's back to hitting the cuts and back to knowing where the ball is going to go. And, like you said, with the chip in and pitch in, Joe Mayo's done an amazing job helping him with that to make him more of a complete player, which is where he's at now.
Yeah.
When you talk about being a cutter of the golf ball, which is a lot of the modern players, a lot of the players obviously move the ball left to right. You get on the tee at 13 at Augusta. What are you saying to Viktor when you know the ball's got to go the other way, maybe an uncomfortable direction for him?
Well, it's actually a lot easier now because,
Right, with a new tee.
The tee box is probably 30 meters long.
Let's say the up tee. Let's say last year's tee at the Masters. What are you saying to Viktor when you know that ball's got to go the way he doesn't like to see it go?
Well, it's 3-wood all day.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not driver because driver is so narrow. It brings the right pines into play, and, we know very well what it's like over there, unless you Phil Mickelson, of course. But
Phil or Jordan, don't
yeah,
hit it over.
exactly.
Right.
But no, it's just, he tends to hit that 3-wood a lot straighter. Especially when the wind's out of the left. That's why he finds it difficult with the driver when the wind's out of the left. So it's most of the time it's 3-wood off the tee and just get it in play and, yeah, go from there.
Shay, what's been one of maybe your biggest regrets as a caddy, right?
Ooh, nice.
Maybe even with Viktor or any of your players. And a regret could be maybe advising on the distance, the wind, reading the lie wrong, some of that nature.
So
Anything come to mind?
What's the worst time you've done your job? What's like the worst part? The worst job you've ever done as a caddy?
I remember this is way back, but I remember caddying for Sean O'Hare, and he was we're at the Scarlet Golf Course in Ohio, and we're playing the Web Finals, and he's playing extremely well. He's in the third round. I think he's coming fifth, and he missed the first 2 cuts to 2 weeks prior. So he's got to play well this week to get his job back on the PGA Tour. And we get up on number 10, 11. We get up on number 12, the par 5, makes birdie. Run to 13. He's teeing off first, running up, getting the yardage. give him the yardage, hit 6-iron, flushes it, posing on it, straight over the green. And he looks at me, and straight away I look back, and they moved the tee. And I'm like, I look back, and I'm like, I just put my head down. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Oh.
And him, to his credit, he's an unbelievable guy. And I'm walking down the hill, and I was just so upset with myself. Like, unimaginable. And he gets up there, and he gets his wedge. He taps me on the back of the leg. He goes, Shay, I got you. Hits an unbelievable flop shot to like 3 feet, holds the putt for par.
Wow.
And I'm like, Sean, thank you. That was the one moment where I wish I could take back, but obviously.
Oh, that's an incredible story.
Shay, what's your journey been like to get to this position? Can you walk us through maybe your career as a caddy and really your career throughout golf?
Yeah, it's, I played golf my whole life. I love the game. Played a lot of golf back in Australia, a lot of amateur events, never turned professional. Never really was good enough. I wasn't long enough. Had an unbelievable short game, but, just knew in my heart that I didn't have it. And, I lived in Sydney, and I played with Matt Jones. We were members of the same golf course, the Australian Golf Club in Sydney. And, we were good friends. We always played golf together, travelled together. We drove to Adelaide and back, that was an interesting drive. That car stunk by the end of the trip.
I hope the air conditioner works.
Oh my gosh, driving through Adelaide, but yeah, no, he went to ASU and then went on he was on the what was it called back in the day?
Probably
Web.com,
buy.com,
whatever
or
it
Nike
was.
Tour, whatever it was.
And he just couldn't get his card, and he said, Shay, I want you to come over and caddy for me. And I was landscaping back home, and finished my course, and I love being outside, so I was doing that, and I'm like, okay, I'll take a chance. So came over, lived together, traveled together, worked together. We were in each other's pockets, and by the end of it, it was like I wanted to kill him, but he got his tour card, and I went back home and didn't think anything of it. And he's like, Shay, I want you to come back, and I'm like, well, I'll come back, but you're going to do your thing. I'm going to do my thing. We're going to meet in the middle like normal player-caddy relationship does. And, worked with him for 5.5 years. Had a great time. And, I moved on from there, worked for Martin Laird, Scottish guy. Worked with him for a couple of years. And
The only Scottish golfer that hits it higher than anybody on tour, by the way.
Yes.
It's incredible to watch the apex of his iron
And-
shot. Don't you knock it down?
And cuts it more than
and
anyone else.
yes,
Sure.
exactly. Yeah, he cuts it more than Victor for
Was
sure.
that shocking to see
Oh
the first
my
time?
God.
Like, I thought Scottish golfers hit it low.
Yeah, no, it launches straight at the end. Those big cuts, like he uses the whole fairway, that's for sure. But worked for him for 2 years, and then I got fired from him. And Sean O'Hare was available. Worked with Sean for 5 years, and now I'm with Victor. So it's been an unbelievable ride. It's gone so fast. I still can't believe I've been on tour for 16 years. I just can't believe. Although the greys probably show that.
Popping up here too. I shaved yesterday, but
I was going to shave last night, but I said to Victor, I'm like, it's a good luck charm. I can't do it.
When Victor wins, he does all the press, he does all the media, he has to do interviews. I mean, people don't understand how long that evening is if you win a big golf tournament. Do you guys meet up at any point on the back end of that? Like go have a beer or go hang out or do anything like that?
Yeah, like when he won, the BMW, we were there and we were just waiting for him. He obviously did, all his media, and he had to sign what felt like 100 flags, etc. So I'm sure his hand was sore after that. But, the way they treated us at the BMW was just first class. We had BMW courtesy cars, we had food available at our disposal. It was like beyond first class. So after the round, the gentleman who was serving us all week said, can we get you any food? And I'm like, well, a nice steak would be nice. So he brought out 3 steaks, salad, waiting for Hobby to come back, and so we all ate together. And then he's like, oh, do you want some dessert? And I'm like, no, I'm good. And they're going to make this Guinness. It's a Guinness with ice cream in it. I'm like, that sounds disgusting. But anyway, so we said no to that. So the chef ended up bringing out this homemade brownie with this chocolate ice cream, cherry in it. And I'm like, it was just like, I had a couple of scoops, but the ice cream doesn't usually handle the stomach too well. So I only had a couple of bites, but it was great.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Shay, what's your favorite course to caddy at throughout the year? Like or top 2 or 3?
By far, Pebble Beach.
Okay.
Yeah, I love pebble, even though it's, we usually play with amateurs and
Yeah.
it's usually miserable weather. But just the view out there, I love that scenery. When you
Yeah.
get on 7, 8, 9, it's just, you stand there and your amateurs are letting it fly left and right. I'm just looking out of the ocean. Maui's nice as well. That's another one, and obviously
Yeah.
Augusta. But Augusta it's like a love-hate relationship because it's so stressful because everyone wants to win Augusta.
Yeah.
And you go there, it's like the holy grail of golf. It's in immaculate condition, and walking on those fields is like being in heaven. To be honest with you, I'd like my ashes to be on Amen Corner when I die. Watch the carnage come in. But those 3 courses would probably be my 3.
What's it like? Obviously, we're in the Ping Tour truck. What's it like having something like this available week to week for you when you need to come tweak something for Viktor or he wants a new club? We've talked a lot this year about the 7 wood he threw in the bag at the Masters, talking about Augusta National. That was really for 2 shots the entire day. So really, what was that? 8 shots for the week. He's basically put a new golf club in. What's it like having this truck available at your disposal?
Yeah, well, they don't really do much here, so no, I'm only joking. Especially Ken. No, I'm only joking. No, it's obviously amazing to have that at Viktor's disposal whenever you need it. Whatever it is, whether you need tees or I need a new hat because you sweat through it. It's just it's once again first class.
What's he particular about? Because we've talked to a few players about. They want to see the loft. They want to see the bend. They want to make sure everything's regripped week to week. What's something that Viktor's particular about, either within his bag or in his bag?
He's not very particular with grips, etc. But, just trying to dial in those numbers, because you need to be so precise with your distance control, on the PGA Tour because you just can't play from long.
So you guys, Viktor plays in meters. Tell us how that works out here. Is he one of the only players that does that? Do they make a separate book? Do you get a separate book or do you do conversions?
No. Well, it's funny because, when we were on the Corn Ferry, we had just yardage books, those finals, and I had to convert both books from yards to meters. But now I'm lucky enough where PGA
get a
Tour.
bonus for that?
Oh my gosh, it's like 2 hours of torture. Your hands unbelievably sore by the end of it. But no, nowadays it's on the PGA Tour. Yeah, they do meters books. There's probably half a dozen guys that work in meters as well. I worked in meters when I was younger. Always played in meters, so it's easier for me to get my head around it. Whereas working in yards was a little bit more difficult for me. So yeah, it's been a great transition for me.
Shay, we watch Viktor week to week on the tour, and fans of his see this happy-go-lucky young kid that's always smiling, and he always looks like he's just in a good mood. What's something about Viktor, either within the ropes or outside of the ropes, that maybe we don't know about him or maybe fuels him, or there's that fire inside of him that we don't see kind of through the Viktor smile?
Well, I think you see it, with his bulldog mentality. Like, for him to go out yesterday and do what he did, you need to have that fire in the belly to, shoot that score and have no fear. And, for him to do that, not every player can do that. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes him the champion that he is.
We talked about the 7 wood at Augusta National. You're looping. You've got your bag set. You know what clubs go distance-wise, whatever. When Viktor comes to you and goes, hey, I'm putting this club in for 2 shots a day, what does that do to your calculations or what you're putting down in your notes, knowing, okay, so we're going to hit this on 13 and 15, and that's kind of it?
Well, that's especially 15 because it's if you're just a little bit off, whether it's short or long, you are screwed.
You got nothing.
Yeah, you got nothing. So it's very tough to pull the club, but, that's what we do. So, you live and die by the sword, and it is what it is. You accept it and move on.
How best do you disagree with them on the golf course? How do you go about a disagreement when maybe you either don't think it's the club, you don't think it's the shot, you don't think it's going to come out of that lie? How do you approach that without sounding negative?
Ultimately, it's his decision. So, I'm going to give my opinion, and I'm going to try to convince him that it's what I think. But at the end of the day, it's his decision. Sometimes he listens, sometimes he doesn't. And, that's why he's got his name on the bag, and that's why he's, top 5 player in the world. So, there's times when, like, perfect example was the BMW when we're there on number 3 and, he's got 9 iron out, he's got 143 meters and the wind's hurting out of the left. And I'm always thinking where the wind is, what it's doing. And, it's meant to be hurting out of the left, but I feel it's straight out of the left. So I pull him off the shot. I'm like, Hovey, it's too much club. And once again, like, he can take it or leave it. But in this situation, he took the advice, went back to a wedge, and he was pinned high and made birdies. So, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It just all depends on what he's thinking at the time, I suppose.
Shay, how do you judge the wind? Do you take notes based on the forecast and then adjust when you're out on the course, or what indicators are you using to judge the wind? Surface wind? Are you looking at trees? Are you looking at flags? What does that process look like?
That's a really good question because obviously the wind can change all the time, and I always hate to see light and variable. Because
yeah.
I'd rather be blowing 10 to 15 out of the, whatever direction. Because, to start with, you're looking at weather maps and you're trying to work out, say it's coming out of the northeast. It says northeast all day. But then you look on, the tour's got their hourly forecast. And sometimes it says light and variable. And you're like, oh my gosh. So, when you see light and variable, you know that it's all over the shop. And, I'm constantly paying attention to the trees, paying attention to the clouds, even though that's extremely high. But, a lot of times I'm paying attention to the trees and, more feeling it, with the, when you're out on the ground, if it's turning out of the left and you kind of feel it coming more off your left, then, your intuition kind of pays off.
What holes have had traditionally, like maybe some confusing or very challenging wind? Is 12 at Augusta one where that?
Yes.
You're feeling it one way off the tee
12,
and it's blowing
13,
different up there.
15, 16, like honestly, yeah, 6.
Take your pick.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing about Augusta. People don't understand that. With those trees, the pine trees, the wind always swells through the trees.
Yeah.
And you can get up there and you can be playing straight down on 11, and then you get on the tee on 12 and you feel like it's hurting out of the right. But what it does is it goes through the pines and comes back, and it's just so difficult. But, you just got to commit to the shot, and hopefully it pays off.
Shay, what's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday like for you week to week on tour? What are you doing Monday? What are you doing Tuesday? Obviously, Wednesday, a lot of the weeks are Pro-Am days, but what is your process like maybe those first couple days week to week?
Usually Monday's always just walking the golf course.
By yourself?
Yes.
Yep.
I love to walk the golf course by myself, just doing it on my own. If I'm walking with a couple of caddies, then I'll do that as well. But, I love getting my prep work in. I pride myself on, being really diligent with all the information that I need for Viktor whenever he needs it. Tuesdays is usually 9 holes. Hovey gets out here, around, 11-ish. He's not an early bird, and which is great for me because I can come out and, if I need anything else out on the golf course, I can do it. And then Wednesday's usually a Pro-Am, although, in Atlanta, there's no Pro-Am, which is nice. But yeah, no, it's usually just prep work and, just dial in the numbers and hopefully, he's ready to go on Thursday.
What's bag weight of Viktor's bag right now? I mean, too much, too little? Like, where are we at?
That fluctuates.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on the conditions. Like, the British Open, when we had everything under the sun, we've always got a lot of food in there. But yeah,
it's light and variable.
British Open was like 60 pounds, whereas, sometimes it's 45 pounds. So yeah.
Who has the heaviest bag on tour? Is there somebody that's bag stands out as the heaviest by far?
Well, when Bryson DeChambeau was on tour, he was probably...
Makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Well, his grips weigh 130 grams each, times 14.
The grips are heavy. The gear is heavy.
Do the math.
The snacks are heavy. What snacks are we working with? And also, I don't think people totally always understand this. I mean, you have snacks in there, too. You got to carry a bag for 5 hours.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't have as many snacks in there for me. They're usually in there for him.
Yep.
I'm usually... have a couple of snacks maybe for me, but, usually get a banana after 9 or just, yeah. But for him, a lot of protein bars, protein powder, bananas, these electrolyte gummies that he likes as well. So, yeah, just try and keep him charged and, good to go for the 18 holes. Because, sometimes you're out there for, 5-6 hours. So you definitely need to replenish, that's for sure.
Shay, can we talk about green reading a little bit? Viktor's used aim point. You see him using it, doing it quickly and efficiently. Do you contribute? Do you help him out on green reading at all? Is he 100% on his own? And then related to that, Are you guys using the greens book, or is it all feet and feel?
It's all feet and feel for him.
Okay.
You know, he's very independent, especially with the greens. Yeah, no, he did aim point a couple of years back, and it's been the best thing for him.
Yeah.
It's given him the confidence, you know, trust in the read. You know, at first, when we first started, I was reading a lot of the putts because he wasn't a great green reader. And the tough part with caddies reading greens is it's all speed related.
Yes.
You know, you can go from a cup to 2 cups out, you know, whatever it is. Whereas aim point, you know, he can feel the putt, whether it's a 1, 2, 3% slope, and he's really good with his feet. So, yeah, he's been doing aim point for the last couple of years, and, you know, I stay out of the way. Once I get on that green, I'm looking for tomorrow's pin and trying to work out where we want to be, where we don't want to be, doing my prep work for the following day and letting him do what he does on the green. So, yeah, we've got a good little thing going at the moment, which is good.
Shay, I caddied for a couple players in the LPGA Tour years ago, and something I don't think people understand, the easiest caddy day is Sunday. That has the least amount of work in terms of what you're doing.
For sure.
Like I would watch these caddies, you know, especially the first couple of events I did, walking off the dot for the next day and figuring out hole locations. You're doing so much work for the next round.
Yeah.
You get to Sunday, and obviously it's pressure packed. You're trying to win or contend or move up on a leaderboard. But as a caddy, the work's kind of done. There's no pin for Monday.
Yeah, it's kind of nice sitting on the back of the green and doing nothing.
We'd always get
I wish there was a seat back there so I could just sit back and chill. But no, it's you know, obviously Sunday it's, you know, it's where you make your moves and try to win the golf tournament. But yeah, it's a lot more relaxed from that standpoint, and just let him do what he does, and, you know, hopefully do like he did at the BMW and finish it off.
Well, if he plays like he does at the BMW, he's going to win a lot.
Exactly.
Marty, you're a guy that pays a lot of attention. I wanted to go back to snacks for a minute. What is your snack situation on the golf course? Because I feel like you're somebody that probably lays this out and has probably like counted calories and protein and things like that.
I've gone back and forth. You know, like lately I've done the intermittent fasting. So if my tea time is not before like, if I can go all the way to like 2 p.m., so if I have a late morning tea time, I don't eat anything.
Wow. No way.
And that was a big, like, I used to get nervous about that. Like, oh, I'm going to run out of food. I need to keep fueling up. But I've done that for quite a while. But you have to get, the hydration's key.
Yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
especially playing in the desert. So, you know, getting some hydration in.
And what are you taking down? Like, what are you eating on the course? What are you taking down?
I love macadamia nuts and olives.
Wow.
I do.
That's an interesting combination.
I knew he would have something random.
No, these little olive snack packs.
Okay.
It's super high fat, and I feel really good. I try to like use my intuition. Like, what foods do I eat there? I feel really good. I love macadamia nuts, high fat and very salty, and olives, same thing. When I eat
love
olives on the golf
Kalamata
course.
olives. I love Kalamata olives.
So there's really good ones from Trader Joe's. Come in a little pack, right in your bag. Perfect little snack.
I cannot wait until the 2024 Masters when Shay's on 13, just pounding some olives. You know, he's going to be taking down a whole bag of olives.
Get a little jar out.
What is he eating out there? That's not a pimento cheese. That's crazy. Shay, we appreciate the time. Thank you so much. Congrats, obviously, on the recent success. You know, play well at the Ryder Cup, I guess we could say. You know, don't go out there and do too much.
Don't start with that.
Don't do too much there. But it should be a great week.
You guys are going to have your European underwear on, I know.
Listen, I root for a good, solid team competition. That's
We're not going to have a pig head on that week.
That's exactly right. No olives there at the Ryder Cup. This is the Ping Proving Grounds podcast.